right. Get this energy flowing. All right. Today's going to be a very, very interesting build that's going to lead into what's really going on out here. So, all right. Greatness, greatness, greatness. Greatness is yours once you claim it. This is code red. I am Keystone. I am amplifying energy, frequencies, and information that generates increases of consciousness, self-awareness, and self-love for for men and women who do not know who they are or the power they possess. All right, so this is the 5th installment working with vocabulary words or words that we use every day or that are part of our lives that we really don't know or have any idea what the word truly means, where it came from, and so on and so forth. And one thing that can't be denied in this dimension or anything that words are magic. You know, words make things happen, cause things to happen. However you want to call it, it is what it is. So building from the earlier shows, again, I'm building vocabulary words, and I want to embed these words into your conscious so you can really break them apart and see what they truly are, because the root of these words and the way they were used are still being used the same way, but we've been directed to think differently. So when we hear a word, we think of it in a poetic sense and not as literal sense, and even deeper or even toward the root of the word. So that's what this truly is. And once, again, myself personally, with everything that I've come across as far as information, to start a foundation or a great base to build from, to me, will start with the words, because once you see with your eyes what these words mean, it will take you to talk yourself out of what you just saw or just viewed with your own eyes. So in short, we're the ones that's deceiving ourselves. So again, starting with grammar, spelling magic, leading to the medical field, pharmaceuticals, and so on and so forth. And the overbearing common denominator, or you could call it the glue or adhesive, or the link between the words, is dealing with magic potions, makers of potions, distributing, so on and so forth. So this 5th spin or 5th show is going to be on the word human. And what I do is, take a word, and I'm just building root just to give a short synopsis of how to, I don't like using research, but search for your information that you're looking for. And again, with the words, if another word is part of a word that you didn't know was even affiliated with that word, then why not go look at that word and see what it truly means? And then you can start to unfold this language, and nothing's going to happen for you or beneficial to you until you begin to unravel the secrets or the BS that's going on right now. The BS is short for bullshit or belief systems. So again, so human, what people don't realize is that there is a very distinct difference between man and human. Man and human, because if man was good enough, why would you need to make human? So that means that if you have to put something in front of a word, it waters it down, so it can't be the same. So water, as it by itself, is not the same as ice water. Granted, it's water, but ice water is not the same as water itself. So with the word human, the part of speech is noun. A human being from 1530s. Well, excuse me, let me go back. I'm reading these definitions from etymology.com or etymology online. So there are other resources that I use for words, but I want to use this as a good point of reference. Again, this is something good to add to your personal references or for your resources. So when you want to see the nature of a word or really see what the word meant when it was transliterated into English, And again, most of these are from 14th, 15th, and 16th century, 17th century. So many, many years before it was convoluted by the way we think now. All right. Here we go. All right. Human. Part of speech is a noun. A human being. 1530s from human, from an adjective. Its Old English equivalent, guma, survives only in disguise in bridegroom. So again, human, the equivalent, Old English equivalent is guma. Etymology online didn't have that word, so I didn't include it, but you're free to search for yourself so you can see what it means. So it says it only survives only in disguise in bridegroom. So most of us are aware what a bridegroom is, and why would it have to be in disguise? All right, so human as an adjective. All right, mid 15th century, human, of or belonging to man, of or belonging to man, refined, civilized. This is in part from literally earthling being, or excuse me, earthly being, as opposed to the gods. But there is no settled explanation of the sound changes involved. Compare Hebrew Adam, man from Adama, ground, cognate with Old Lithuanian Zmuo, man, male person. Human interest is from 1824. Human rights attested by 1680s, human being by 1690s, human relations by 1916, human resources. Human resources, y'all need to put that together yourself. Attested by 1907 by American English, apparently originally among social Christians and based on natural resources. Natural resources. Human comedy. Some of human activities translate French. I don't speak French, so I'm not even going to attempt it. All right, so it also says see comedy. Comedy is involved in another build that I'm using, so I'll deal with comedy then. But again, you can see for yourself. All right, so with the word human as a noun being in disguise for bridegroom, so what I did was, bridegroom, only time I know that is even used is dealing with the wedding. So I know a wedding is referred to as a ceremony. So another word for a ceremony is a ritual, and rituals have rites and so on and so forth. So what I did is I took ritual and rite and included it before I read bridegroom, because it would be very important for you to understand what a ritual is or a rite is and the purpose of it. And it will begin to color or fill in the reason why it has to survive in disguise. Rite, R-I-T-E, noun. Early 14th century, formal act or procedure of religious observance performed according to an established manner, from custom, usage, especially a religious observance or ceremony, which perhaps is from to reason, count, on the notion of to count, to observe carefully. Rite of passage, 1909, marking the end of one phrase to start another in an individual life. It's translated from French rite de passage, passage, coined by French anthropologist Arnold Gennep. So a rite is when you a marcation in your point of life where you end one phase and enter into another. Bridegroom. All right, so now ritual, adjective. 1560s, pertaining to or consisting of rite or rites, from French ritual or directly from Latin ritualis, relating to religious rites, and readers, religious observance or ceremony, custom usage. All right, so rite and ritual. All right, you got that. So now bridegroom. It's about to get into this then. Bridegroom, noun. Man, newly married or about to be. Suitor, bride, see bride. Guma, man, from Guman. All right, literally earthling or earthly being, as opposed to the gods, from suffix, from gem, meaning earth. Ending altered 16th century by folk etymology after groom, noun. Groom, boy, lad. Boy, lad. A common Germanic compound, Old Norse, Old High German, different ways of pronouncing it. I'm not going to attempt it, except in Gothic, which is used like Brelsfaps, literally bride's lord. So bridegroom puts you in the status of a boy, and a lad, and okay, so now groom by itself as a noun, circa 1200s, late 12th century surnames, male, boy, child, a young, circa 1300, a young man, a youth, a young man, also male, servant, attendant, minor officer in the Royal Army, minor officer in a royal or noble household, ranking higher than a page, a knight's squire, of unknown origin, no certain cognates of the Germanic languages, perhaps from an unrecorded Old English, which could be related to grow, and influenced by Guma, and influenced by man, or perhaps from or influence. Well, I'll go back to that, which could be related to grow and influenced by man, or perhaps from or influenced by Old French grommet, boy, young man in service, serving man, as the title of an officer of the Old English royal house from mid-15th century. Specific meaning, male servant who attends to horses and stables. It's from the 1660s and earlier combinations such as horse groom, groom and stable. So again, I'm just reading these words, and they can color them however they want to color them, or you are free to do so as yourself. And all right, these are their words, not mine. All right, so groom as a noun, second installment. Husband to be at a wedding, newly married man, circa 1600, usually as a correlative of bride, short for bridegroom, in which is the second element of guma, man. All right, so that's the second installment. All right, so now groom as a verb. All right, tend or care for. Curry and feed, 1809, from groom, noun version, in its secondary sense of male servant who attends to horses. Transferred sense of tidy oneself up is from 1843. Figurative sense of to prepare a candidate is from 1887. Oh, wow. Originally in U.S. politics related grooming. Okay, interesting. All right, so groom, you got two ways of two contexts as far as different nouns, and then you have verb, and so everything is a servant tending to a stable. So we know what women are usually referred to and how stable relates to so on and so forth. If you don't know, then you figure it out later. This ain't that build. All right, so one thing that's also been referred to from groom is boy. So you got bridegroom from groom. Groom from bridegroom, and rite and ritual, transferring you from one stage to another. So from what I gather, from what I'm reading and what I've built, it's pretty much safe to say that the things are set up to take you from being a man and to get you to accept being a human. So you are a man, you start off as a man, but somewhere along your path of life, you end up being a human if you're unaware of the difference of the two. So again, the words create your world. So if you never get an understanding of the words that are being used for you, against you, then you have no idea of what's going on within the world that you exist in, if you can call it existing. So until you can break through the words, at least you can unravel or begin to see the actual illusion, because the illusion is created from the words that give you the visions in your mind. And that's simply what it boils down to. And once you begin to see that and accept that, then you can begin to see and unravel and pull the strings at these other things. But it's not going to happen until you can accept that you do not know what is going on or have been going on. It's just simple as that. Because the more that the more that I'm aware of, it's shared with me. The more that I'm unaware of. So if you intend to grow and go, you have to begin. And again, these are words. All you have to do is sit down and read them. You know what I mean? You're not doing super duper scholastic, diagnosis of things. You're just reading words and processing them with your thoughts, and then you're good to go. And if not, then you can build, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to grasp the comprehension of these words, because without them, you're lost. Believe that. All right, so with groom and everything, it's pretty much safe to say that, excuse me, as many references as that, you're. All right, so mid 13th century, boy, part of speech is a noun. Mid 13th century, servant, commoner, knave, generally young and male. Circa 1300, rascal, ruffian, knave, urchin. Okay. All right, mid 14th century, as male child before puberty, possibly an extended sense of the urchin. One, a word of unknown origin, possibly from imbui, one fettered, from vulgar Latin, leg iron, yoke, leather collar, ox hides. The word boy doubles as a servant, attendant across Indo-European map. Compare Italian ragazzo, from French garçon, Greek pais, Middle English knave, Old Church Slavic otroko. And often it is difficult to say which meaning came first. But it also appears to be identical with the each Frisian boy, boi, young gentleman, and perhaps with Dutch both. Knave, from mid-Dutch boev, perhaps from Middle Low German gewobe. This suggests a graduational relationship to babe. For a different conjecture, use slightly of young men in Middle English, also in familiar contemptuous use of criminal thoughts of men in the armed services. In some local uses, a man without reference to age, Old English dictionary lists in Cornwall in Ireland in the far west of the U.S., meaning male Negro slave or Asian personal servant of any age. Attested from circa 1600. Extended from boyo is attested from 1870. Emphatic exclamation, oh boy, is attested by 1917. Boy meets girl, typically of conversation romance, is from 1945. The phrase itself is from 1934 as a dramatic formula. Boy crazy, eager to associate with male, is from 1923. In Old English, only the proper name boya has been recorded, meant to churl, churl, servant, and rarely devil. In text, the meaning male child does not antedate 1400s. Mod boys, MOD, all right, mode, the mod, oh yeah, so yeah, my generation, the mod boy look like a semantic blend of a noticeable number of modern words for boy, girl, and child. Were originally colloquial nicknames, derogatory and whimsical, in part endearing and finally commonplace. There, as in natural, are the most diverse and most obscure origin. All right, so boy is a server, even references to being feminine. Again, servant, boy, girl, child, pre-man, if you want to say that. So for what I've seen so far with human is that these different processes to take you from man to a human are done purposely and intentionally. So there's no reason to go from a man to a human and there not be a reason, and the reason is not spoken or made common knowledge to us. So it's up to you to find out if you choose to do so. So within, taking the word human, the next word is eugenics. So eugenics is real big, and the history of it is good gosh. But again, you will have to decide. You've been hearing this word in the news, I would say minimally 10 years, at least to some of y'all's awareness. And a lot of people way before that, but minimally 10 years. And nobody's decided to look it up and just, accept it for what it is. So here we go. Eugenics, noun, doctrine of progress and evolution of the human race. Race culture, 1883, coined along with adjective eugenic by English scientist Francis Galton. Francis Galton, y'all. On analogy of ethics, physics, etc., from Greek eugenes, well born of good stock of noble race. From EU, meaning good. So if you want to look at how the English language is and how the vowels are, EU is pretty much the same thing as AU. So EU and AU in the beginning of a word are used as a prefix, meaning something that is good. So you can build from that. EU plus genos equals birth. From the investigation of human eugenics, that is, of the conditions under which men of a higher type are produced. So they want to produce a higher type of man. That's what a human is, and the purpose of eugenics right here. Eugenics exists to build a higher type of man. And put it together, y'all. Eugenics, the only way that they can see having a better man or anything better than man is to make man a computer. And computer is a composite of a man. So ass backwards. All right, so we got eugenics. So again, I'm breaking down the word. EU means good, eugenics, genes. So these people are manipulating things to narrow down and to make things so horrible that their genes end up being the good genes. Did you hear that? They're messing things up so their genes end up being the good genes. That's why you're being pushed to have all this shit in your body that you don't even investigate. And these people never seen you a day in their life, and you accept it because they're on your TV wearing a white coat. Yeah, I'm gonna give me one. Believe that. All right, so with eugenics, all right, so it spoke for itself. So the next word that I came across is polygyny, 1864, and anthropology, the doctrine that the human race is not one, but consists of many distinct species. I'm going to rewind that. 1864, in anthropology, the doctrine that the human race is not one, but consists of many distinct species. I see poly, mean, many, genes born, give birth, beget. By 1970, the same word was used in a different sense, in reference to the theory that multiple genes contribute to the form or variant of some particular trait of an organism. Another word for the anthropological theory. Again, theory, that's something y'all need to look up if you don't know the difference between the theory and a theorem. When you hear something labeled a theory, it's simply a theory. All right, so polygyny, polygenes, many genes, P-O-L-Y in front of a word means many. So polygenes. Again, that. All right, polygynous or polygenesis. Plurality of origins in biology. Generation of origination from several separate and often independent germs. Good gosh. As a doctrine equivalent to special creation, originally and often specifically in reference to the view that the human race consists of several distinct species. 1858, from polygenesis, birth, origin, creation, see polygyny. All right, so, polygynous is a noun as well. So both of them make a reference to each other, saying that biologically, humans come from many different species. Origins independent. and often independent. So something from over here, and over here was combined to create this. All right, y'all. All right, so now this word, I've never heard of it before. Here we go. Homunculus. Excuse me, homunculus. Homunculus. That's a noun. Tiny human being produced artificially. Again, tiny human being produced artificially. 1650s from Latin homunculus, plural, homunculi, literally, little person with culus, diminutive suffix plus homo, which technically meant male human, but it also was used with the sense of human race, mankind within vulgar Latin. It could be used as one, anyone, they, people, and in logical and scholastic writing as a human being person. Human being person. This is conjectured to be from, get the plane right over. All right, so this is conjectured to be from written man, person, people, goon, G-U-M-E, literal sense, and earthling, earth, compare human, adjective. Other Latin diminutives from homo included homulus and homuncio. All right, so yeah, homunculus. I would think that meant something humongous just from the way the word is and what the other way that, relation to other words. But nah, homunculus is not humongous, but homunculus is a humongous hitter. Huge. I mean, tiny human being produced artificially. So for those that don't believe that there are clones and blah, 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 all that stuff that y'all like to consider conspiracy theory, better get busy with these words and see where they lead you. All right, so now, all right, so what I did was build off a human, and so once I saw that it was actual transition, once I looked at ceremony, ritual and rite, and so what I did was take words that would show a transition and a purposeful and an intentional direction to nurture and produce a human, which is better than man. So before I looked at this, as far as vocabulary words, I'm aware of that, but never was able to use these words to describe it. So actually myself, I'm learning as well. And from what I was able to do from these words and beyond is, but in particular in this build right here. All right, so again, homunculus, polygyny, eugenics you've heard before, groom, bridegroom, ritual, rite. These are words that we've heard and we do hear and, just assume that we are aware of what they mean or the true meaning of the words and have no clue. So now we're with the words that we're more familiar with derivatives from the word human. So now we have humanity, a noun, late 14th century, kindness, graciousness, politeness, consideration for others, from humanity, humanity, human nature, humankind, life of the party, life of earth, pity, from conduct, philanthropy, kindness, good breeding, refinement, from humanus, see human, adjective, sense of human nature, human form, state of quality of human being, of being human, Around 14th century, that of the human race, humans collectively, first recorded mid 15th century. So with these words, you begin to see that they took a special meaning or have a particular meaning, and they all are rooted and come around this same period of time. Again, 1300s to the 1600s, they were getting busy, and all we got were the school books, and you got to break away from what you thought you learned in school. And again, what you thought you learned, because what you thought you learned, you did not. What you thought you learned, you did not learn. All right, so now we're at humankind, a noun. The human species, 1640s. Originally two words, human and kind, mid 15th century. All right, so now we got humanist, which is a noun, 1580s. Student of the classical humanities, one accomplished in literature and classical culture. From French humaniste, humaniste. Formed on model of Italian humanista, student of human affairs or human nature. So a human is somebody that's learning about humans or a person, but you get it. So this is the programming system. All right, so in this use, the original notion appears to be human as opposed to defined. So again, they got these in quotation marks. They have to be human as opposed to defined. Again, these are word plays. You have to be able to pick this up. So human is created or used to be a better than man or a better man or better version of man, but they're going to be slick and use divine. But again, I have no problem with it. I'm very aware that I am God. I am one of the many gods that exist, but a God doesn't exist until they're able to accept that they are truly a God. Not saying they're the original God, but if I'm again made of the creator, then why am I not? Why should I not say so? If you're in denial, that means you haven't accepted it. You're guilty from accepting your lot, which is truly living in sin. When you don't accept your lot, which is what is given to you, you reject it, that's living in sin. But you listen to the boys on Sunday and they won't give it to you like that because they need you to come back. I don't need you to come back. I need you to come back here so you can build yourself better, than therefore you can affect those around you to waking up and accept their godship, godhood. All right, so humanists. So that's a student. So really, so the structure of the universities now, and this is just coming together right now, nothing that I pre-planned. Like I said, this is live. I put the list together and skimmed over a few here and there, but as I was collecting them so I could put them in the right order. But right now, again, I'm learning as you're learning. I just seen the words, but as far as being able to put them together, I haven't read them in succession. So what I'm saying is that anybody that goes to modern day universities are humanists because everything that you learn is about humans. So what is going on is that if you're a product of academia, you are a humanist. Not good, not bad, just bringing awareness to you. And until you comprehend or accept that there are differences between man and a human, you're going to be living in a fictional world. And that's the world that people don't want to release themselves from. They live in a world full of titles and colorful poetic words and meanings and don't want to release them and accept um, actuality, facts. All right, so humanism, part of speech is a noun, along with humanist, used in a variety of philosophical and theological senses, 16th century through 18th century, especially ones concerned with the mere humanity of Christ. The humanity of Christ. those special little pieces that they want. Or imitating Latin, humanitas. Education, benefiting a cultivated man. Education benefiting a cultivated man. Fine-tuned mind there. Fine chop. See humanism in the sense the doctrine of science of human nature has been used. So now human nature. You're only human. From 1832 in reference to intelligent study and appreciation of the classics, especially in reference to the Renaissance. So here we go, y'all. The Renaissance is very, very, very important. The medieval age, the Renaissance, and all the stuff that we were taught in school. This is when they decided to get busy. Not they decided to get busy, but it's go time, man. Once they put their foot on the gas, they've been accelerating. And again, pay attention to these years or be aware of these years. All right, so let me go back to where I was. Oh man. Okay, all right. From 1832, in reference to intelligent study and appreciation of the classics, especially in reference to the Renaissance. By 1847, in reference to system or mode of thought in which human interests predominate, originally often in writings of its enemies. Wow. All right, y'all. The reference, I mean, excuse me, on the Renaissance is an aggressive, I'll say, a campaign or a mission. If you don't know what a mission is, look it up. Yeah, so this is all systems go now. Let's go get it. So yeah, because they originally often in the writings of his enemies. As pragmatic system of thought defined by 1907 by co-founder F.C.S. Schiller as the perception of the philosophical problem concerns human beings, striving to comprehend a world of human experience by the resources of human minds. Yeah, so they pretty much say we want to do it our way, and this is what we're going to do, and we need you to see it our way. And if you can't see it our way, then we're going to help you. Oh man! All right, so yeah, so this human mission is on. So it's our way or no way, and here we are. Humanitarian, 1749. Part of speech is a noun in the theological sense, one who affirms the humanity of Christ, but denies his preexistence and divinity. All right, that's interesting. So, you want to affirm the humanity, so the pieces that you want out of Christ, and deny his preexistence and divinity. So, you want to accept the humanity aspect of it, but not the man aspect. So, again, y'all, pay attention to these words. Excuse me. All right, so but denies his preexistence and divinity from human adjective by 1834 as one who professes the creed that person's highest duty is to advance the welfare of the human race. One who professes the creed that a person's highest duty is to advance the welfare of the human race. But that closely allied sense, philanthropist, one who advocates or practices human action to solve social problems. Okay, so you already see that a human is a fabricated thing made up, and now they want to solve social problems with human action. Human action comes from human thought, and human thought is a watered down man thought. And yeah, come on, y'all. These words originally was disparaging with a suggestion of excess. Compare humanism as an adjective by 1834 in the theological sense, affirming the humanity or human nature of Christ. By 1855 as having regard for the broad interest of humanity. So they pretty much said we're gonna do it our way, and that's the way it's gonna be. Like it is like that, and that's the way it is. And until you awaken yourself or allow yourself to be awakened or wakened, um, yeah, you're gonna be talking this human stuff, human, and have no clue that you've been guided away from your lot as man and woman, because man and woman inhabits the earth, and excuse me, inherits the earth, and because of lineage, and the more human you are, the less man you are, accepted or rejected. All right, so humanly, adverb, circa 1500, humanely, courteously, kindly, from human adjective, meaning in a human manner is from 1610's meaning within range of human experience or power is from 1580. So what they've done is with man, they want to sell you a dream that if you want to be, if you're a human, you have these perfect aspects of you. And to err, they said to err is to err is divine. So they want to set your mind to where you're striving for perfection or this version of the human. And they only want the kind and gentle stuff. So while you're being kind and gentle, they're kicking you on your ass and smacking you in the back of your head but you're being humanely, you're turning the other cheek, and all the stuff that they made these people, made these characters and put them before you to influence your way of thinking, because there's no way that you can really tell somebody that's smacking the shit out you to turn your other cheek. And they really do that. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have an option, but for somebody to move a whole nation of people to think that way, and while they getting kicked in the ass and smacked in the face while turning the other cheek, things are happening that are putting them in a extremely poor position as far as removing their leverage. Again, y'all, these humans are here to distract things from you. They're extracting. All right, so superhuman adjective. So this was pretty interesting. So 1630s, from medieval Latin super humanus. See, super plus human adjective. In early use, often divine, since 19th century, typically above the powers or natures of man. So again, they used to use the word superhuman to speak of man. Inhuman adjective, mid 15th century, cruel. Inhuman, savage, cruel, rude, barbarous, uncultured. Not, opposite of. Human, spelled inhuman, inhumane. So, inhuman, so you see the word meaning cruel. So one thing that they do with the words is, I know from my generation and hip hop, rap, on to a certain point where I don't listen to any, new music like I used to. I mean, every once in a while I see what's out there, but nowhere in the capacity that I once used to. So what they're doing is they created a culture, and they nurture cultures that are harmful, that are not functional. I can say that. That's a beautiful word. They're not functional. So if you think of yourself as savage, cruel, barbarous, and these are words that we bestow upon ourselves or have others bestow upon us, we wear that, and that becomes us. So, people, they savage, they're this, they're that. So when they treat you as one, why are you crying? Because if you were truly man, there would be no need for you to be savage, because it's about cooperation, it's about congruence, it's about love. So when you're savage, you're cruel, and the other words, adjectives, means nothing good to you. And again, these are words. You keep telling yourself, you keep saying that I am savage and I am this and I am that. That's what you become. I mean, I used to at one time refer to myself as ruthless. And yeah, you become what you say you are. All right, so inhuman. All right, so that's when you take on those adjectives. All right, so this word right here, hominoid, adjective, man-like. 1927, from Latin homo, man, as a noun meaning an animal resembling man. From 1927, earlier adjective, hominiform, a human shape. 1670. So hominoid, you know what an OID is, OID, version of, so droids and so on and so forth. So a hominoid, man-like. So they're still imitating man, people. So you really can call a computer a hominoid. All right, so humanoid, adjective, 1871, anthropological, hybrid from human. Earlier adjective was humaniform, as noun. Humanoid, being from 1925. Earlier 1906, brand name of a type of cow's milk altered to be closer to human milk, intended as food for infants. Yeah, I'm gonna read that again. That was interesting when I read that one. Earlier 1906, brand name of a type of cow's milk altered Again, altered. Everything that's human is altered. Again, altered. That's why you go to the altar at church, because they need to change you. They need to alter your mind. Oh man, come on, y'all. It's in the word. It's in the word. So they altered the milk to be closer to human milk intended as food for infants. So there's infant milk and stuff like that. That's for humans, y'all. You gotta get back to the breast milk. But okay, so that's humanoid. So now Neanderthal. Saying this was a word when I was in school. This was the this is the name referred to the uncivilized people from the mountains that came down and mixed with man. So this is where the mind fuckery comes in, y'all. The Neanderthals are truly the humans, and again, humans are made up of many individual species. So you got to put it together. Until you can put it together, it's never going to be anything for you. All right, so Neanderthal, that's an adjective. 1861, in reference to a type of extinct hominid from German Neanderthal, Neander Valley, name of a gorge near Dusseldorf, where humanoid fossils were identified in 1856. The place name is from Graysize, from Joachim Newman, literally new man. 1650 through 1680, German pastor, poet, and hymn writer who made this favorite spot in the 1670s. Adopting a classical form of one's surname was a common practice among educated Germans in this era. As a noun by 1915, as a type of big, brutish, stupid person from 1926. They were extinct by about 35,000 years ago. That they inherit, all right, so here we go. That they were extinct by 35,000 years ago, period. That they interbred with modern humans was long debated and denied. Again, they say they were extinct for 35,000 years. So here's the stories, y'all. You got to pay attention. Well, you ain't got to pay attention. If you don't, somebody else will, and they'll tell you their version of it. All right, so what I got is that these people found these fossils in the 1650s. This is the story that they're giving, and they're saying that the humans are denying that they interbred with Neanderthals. And again, in school, Neanderthals were basically the caveman. So modern day humans are denying that they interbred or even have any Neanderthal in their blood. And yeah, so here we go. So that they interbred with modern humans was long debated and denied, but DNA analysis settled the question in 2013. They did. So humans are mixed with Neanderthals and all this other stuff and bits and pieces of different things. So when they tell you they want you to put this stuff in your body, it's not for you. All right, so the word DHGHEM, Mr. Root, so meaning earth. So gem, another word is saying gem, DHGHEM. So other words come from, rooted from that. You could go through the list, but this part that breaks it down is where it made it solid for me. So it is a hypothetical source of evidence for its existence. It's provided by Sanskrit. Kazam, earth opposed to sky, the earth, solid surface of the earth on the ground, humus, oil, soil, and humanless meaning low. So when I saw the humanless meaning low, outside of the other stuff, but as I was building, all these words didn't build right in the beginning, and saying this root part of I pulled early, and when I saw low, that allowed me to see that what the human is are actually and truly the lower qualities from man that are accentuated and put on a pedestal to be the reason or the right to rule over others that rule in love. So they're telling you love and kindness and politeness and shit so they can kick you in the ass and you turn around and give them a hug. rather than socking them in the mouth or kicking them in the chest. So what they're telling you to be like is not what they're actually doing. Again, what they're telling you to be like is what they're not actually doing. All right, so anthropology, noun, science of the natural history of man, 1590s, originally especially of the relation between physiology and psychology. From modern anthropologia, or coined independently in English, is anthropologos is used literally as speaking of man. All right, so anthropology is the study of man, not study of humans, it's the study of man. So when they talk of anthropology, they always talk about anthropology as though they're talking about caveman. Again, that's what they want man to be. So again, Neanderthals interbred with humans, man is alone. So when they talk about anthropology, they always say ancient man, because they want you to think that human is the new man. It's not. It's not. All right, so anthropology as a noun, again, ascription of human beings to divine beings. Ascription of human, ascription of human feelings to divine beings. Humanity, literally human feeling, man, human, combining form of pathos, suffering, disease, feeling, to suffer. So anthropopathy, anthropathy. All right, I'll have it next time. All right, so that explains it. So that's what's going on now. So what they're doing, they're telling you that your feelings make you divine. And it's about your feelings and not about what's actual from what this is. So, wow. Wow. Anthropopathy. Anthropopathy. All right, I'll have it next time. All right, so again, human feelings to divine beings. So they're ascribing how humans feel to these deities, these things worthy of worship, based strictly off of how man feels, or excuse me, how humans feel. Wow. All right. So anthropomorphous. So this is word I've come across some years ago when I was first acquiring this information and coming across, and then as it was being unfolded to me, it was just like, what the hell? Who are these people? Who do they hang with? Who do they talk to? And this is one of the words where it was around the time when I was, allowing myself to become aware of astrology and numerology and other things. And so there are things that exist that are, blended. And when I, it was interesting to have a term of why the Sphinx or the centaur or whatever that's part man, part animal, and for practice, I'll say. So this is an adjective for it. So it's having human form, anthropoid, in form of apes, etc. 1753. Englishing of late Latin anthropomorphous, having human form, of human form, human being, a word of uncertain etymology. So just something made up, just again, the adjective is just an opinion. Nothing solid, is just, it's agreed upon. In order for an adjective to be valid, it would have to be agreed upon. It doesn't mean it's actual or factual. It's just an opinion. All right, so anthropophobia. Now, these last two words, again, anthropophobia, fear of man, anthropophobia, fear of man, 1841. All right, misanthropy. So I've funny that that word ended up being on this bill, because I've only heard that on a rap CD. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of the songs, and didn't know what it meant. I'm just listening, and again, blind. Just listening, and to see what it means now. It's like, wow, that's interesting. So this word is misanthropy. Misanthropy, hatred or dislike of mankind, the habit of taking the worst possible view of human character and motives. Hatred of mankind, hating mankind. So misanthropy is the hatred of mankind, and this is what is going on right now. Misanthropy. So what they're doing is word trickery. I had other words, but I'm gonna do it right. Stop it right there. And again, that's might do one more with words, but after that, you got to start building and unraveling different areas and from different angles. And so again, they're attacking you with the words. They're creating a fictitious world by these words. So when they want you to be against man, they're talking about, man, masculine, masculine energy, not feminine. They want everything to be feminized. To get, so what they're doing is they shitting on the word man, or they're shitting on man through the word man. Again, they're shitting on man through the word man, and everybody's buying into it, but they're doing it through a fucked up, jacked up way. They're distorting language. So they're attacking the word man, but they're attacking man through the word man. So that's why they want everything that's pushed to be feminine, feminine, feminine. So when a woman is referred to as man, she's going to get hot and pissed off and demand to be called a human or human rights and shit like that, and have no fucking clue what the word means. Excuse the language, but it is what it is. I have no clue what it means, but you're demanding that. So now they got these people not wanting to be man. So when they come grab your kids, excuse me, they come grab your sons and daughters and grab your property and your land and your assets and your liabilities and put you out. You can't cry about human rights. Humans have no rights. Man and woman inherits the earth. Again, man and woman inherits the earth. So by you being so anti-man, you won't even accept that man is just meaning hands. That's what gods are. Gods are able to create with their hands. See, if you notice, humans use computers, or when they used to use you until you're no longer usable. Now they have computers to do what you used to do. Again, man, meaning hands. That's what the creator does, creates with his hands, manual. So, accept it or reject it, build from it. But again, you got to be able to say more than just for anything that I share with you. Ain't gonna do it. It ain't gonna work. So again, these words, please, 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 please do yourself a favor and read them. Again, it's powerful. Never, ever, ever refer to yourself as a human if you're a man or one man. And actually, woman, all woman is a man with a womb. That's it. Not whoa, a man and all this other stuff. It's man with a womb. Now, if you buy into that humanistic shit, then you'll accept any and everything that they tell you. So again, get with these words. Start somewhere. You got to begin, because other than that, they coming, and when they come, they got you dead of rights because you have no idea what you signed up for, who signed you up for it, and you're the one that authorized it. Again, the only rights that you have are the ones that you can express. If you're unable to express your rights, you have none. That's how it operates. As they say, ignorance of the law, there's no excuse for ignorance. You know what I'm saying? That's no excuse. So again, start somewhere. Again, these words, my suggestion, because once you see these words and see that they're used in everyday life, you have to, well, you ain't got to, but those that are ready to go beyond where they currently are and they know that things are jacked up but just don't know where to go or how to go about it, this is a good start, because once we get going, we rolling. And again, these are things taken from us all our life. Hidden from us all our life, and you have to make a decision and an intentional choice to do this. You have to make an intentional choice to grow. Again, I appreciate you coming out, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Grow, grow, grow. I am Keystone. Again, this is Code Red. I am excuse me. So yeah, these words, y'all gotta, whew, yeah. All right, so yeah, this is Code Red. I am amplifying energy, frequencies, and information that generate increases of consciousness, self-awareness, and self-love for men and women who do not know who they are or the power they possess. Have a great day. Get at these words.